All right. Hey guys, just making a little video about what I'm pursuing in college. And if you've been following my channel and you've seen some of my videos and you think that we generally have a similar cognition style, you might enjoy taking this too. So, just right off the bat, I am going to a community college. Um, it is actually it is one of the best community colleges in the nation. So I mean, I'm not gonna try to dox myself, but it is like a really good community college. But you can't exactly double major there. Um, Once I transfer to a 4-year institution, I'm planning on double majoring. But I basically want to double major in philosophy and psychology. Um, which is I'm taking classes suited to that right now. So right now my schedule for this semester is I've got an intro to philosophy class, which is nice because I mean it's like I've read a lot on it, but I've never taken a formal class on it. So it's really well. I'll talk about that. Um, and I'm taking Psychology 221, which is Introduction to Psychopathology, the study of mental illnesses and disorders. Don't have to take Psych 100 because I took the AP Psych exam. I got a 5 on that. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to make it one of my majors, because I'm super interested in psychology. It's like one of my favorite subjects. And philosophy is also one of my favorite subjects. So there's that. And why I like it. Why am I doing this double major? First of all, psychology. We'll start with the psychology aspect, because psychology is not as people hear philosophy in college and they get pretty like, ooh, that's kind of like that's a little bit troublesome, right? But so we'll start with psychology. Why I'm taking that. I basically just I don't know. I love the study of the mind, what's going on in it. How I do really like the psychopathology aspect, the mental illnesses, the disorders. I like I've been reading I read 2 of the books in the Hannibal Lecter series. I like that. Jack Graham, the main character of the Red Dragon, he was really cool. Just seeing how he grappled with his psychopathic inclinations was really nice. And not saying that I feel a little bit, well, maybe I do feel a little bit of that psychopathy myself sometimes, but we're not gonna dive into that right now. So yeah, I mean, I just really enjoy the subject, and this is what I think is really important. What I've discovered from me, and seeing a few of my other friends that um, oh well, I'll give the rest of my schedule, right. I'm also taking a Math 150, a calculus, applied calculus for business and economics, because it's required. I wouldn't be taking it if I didn't have to. And then a English class as well, because it's also required. Um, but one thing that I can notice from my 2 classes that I enjoy and then 2 required classes is that, and then what I was about to say, my friends that are taking a major, not because they enjoyed the major, but because they're like, oh, dude, this makes you a lot of money. Um, you know, I've noticed I don't feel burned out at all. Like, um, the amount of notes that I take, I was one of those kids in high school that I never took notes, right? I never took notes for any class. I had like straight A's pretty much across the board. Not straight A's. I had like a 3.8 unweighted GPA at the end. And then weighted, I had like a 4.2 or 3 or something. But never took notes, right? I just have a really good memory and I pay attention in class. But like, to show you what happens when you take classes that you enjoy, when you're not concerned with like, oh, what's gonna make me the most money, um, and what do I actually enjoy learning about, to the point where it doesn't feel like I'm going to school, but I'm getting, you know, I'm I'm paying to learn what I actually want to learn about. I'm not even paying. I got a full ride scholarship, of course, because community college for me wasn't because of my grades or something. As you can tell from those of you who watch my channel, I'm a very erudite intellectual. Erudite elocution reference? Say that again. Anyways, yeah, but it's just money. Like, I don't have money for 4-year institutions at all. Um, but Anyways, yeah, not about grades. Um, community college was for the money, not for grades. Anyways, um, so just to show you how much it makes an impact when you learn, never took notes once in my high school career, right? This is just the notes for my psychopathology class, right? Well, I think it's mirrored, but you get the point. This is just those notes, right? And it's been like maybe how far into the semester are we? I don't know. We're like a little over halfway through, right? Like a lot. Like I look at all that. Never took notes once in my high school career. This is what happens when you take a class that you genuinely enjoy, right? That's just for my psychology class. Here's my philosophy notes. I put them in a bit more of an organized journal, because you can tell, I like psychology and philosophy, but like philosophy just a little bit more. Here's my philosophy notes. This is kind of just like this front cover page is kind of just random scribblings that I do. But here's all the notes on the readings that we've done. Never took notes once in high school. All the readings. All my notes for the class. And you might say, well, if you like philosophy more, why do you have less notes for it? Wait. I separate how I take the notes. The front portion of the book is my notes on the readings, and the back portion of the book is my notes from the lectures in the class. So there's a lot more notes back there too. But anyways, you can see how much notes that is combined, my philosophy and my psychology class. And I'm being so real, I hated taking notes. I mean, I never did it in high school because I never had to, but like when they required you, like, you always had those classes where they'd be like, you need to take notes and show it to me for credit, right? But whenever I had to do that, I hated it. But like, I genuinely love doing these classes, so it's so easy for me to take notes, and I don't feel like I can ever get academic burnout from doing them, which is what I see a lot of my friends suffer. I see some of them suffer with because they're taking classes that they genuinely just do not enjoy. Like, they're like, oh, I'm gonna make money from it, but like, is it worth it if you can't even like do well or succeed in the class? Like, my first psychology exam, I got the highest score in the class, and I turned it in first, and I was the only one that didn't bring notes because the teacher allowed you to bring 1 page of notes. I didn't have a single page of notes. I turned it in first, no notes, and I got the highest score in the class. Like, and this isn't like an intro to psych, right? This is a psych 221. I'm the only freshman in that class. Everyone else, because it's it's not a it's not a beginner class, right? It's a 221. I'm like the only. When you go to college, think about a major that you're gonna enjoy doing, because you're going to be able to do well in it, and I think that's going to be worth a lot more than a major that will make you money. Plus, I think these days that college degrees are so oversaturated that if you only get a bachelor's, it's not really going to be worth much. You have to get a master's for pretty much just about anything. But I guess it's redundant for me anyways because I'm joining the Army. So, and if you're worried, especially if you're doing like a private college, and you're taking a major that you're not going to do well in and not succeed, that's really it. So why am I taking philosophy as my second major? I genuinely just love philosophy so much. And I can explain it really well. I've always felt that it was like a deeper science. Almost one of the first readings we did touched on that aspect. It's Joseph Pieper, a German Catholic. He had his book, What Does It Mean to Philosophize? He touched on this, where he says that the unique thing about philosophy is that it is useless. And a lot of you might laugh and be like, yeah, you're damn right, it's useless. But like, unironically, philosophy is the only science that is not done for the sake of something else. You cannot do philosophy for the sake. You do science to figure out, chemical reactions. You do math so you can figure out equations to build stuff, engineering, yada, yada. Philosophy is the only thing that is done for its own sake, and that is what makes it unique. Um, it's a way to pierce the workday world, you know, when everything in the world has become so about like what can I do to benefit myself, to to advance in the world, to make more money. Philosophy takes a step back, and it allows it lets you relax and not worry so much about the workday world and actually ponder about the deeper questions of life. It leads you to very scintillating conversations with yourself and with others as well that thoroughly enjoy the subject. Um, yeah, and I'm definitely gonna talk a lot more about philosophy, what I learned in the class, because it's actually allowed me to expand my own ideas that I've touched on before. Especially that NPC video that I made, I'm gonna make a touch up on it because we read something, Plato's cave allegory, just as a little um, for what do you, not like a spoiler, like a little, I guess a spoiler, yeah. So it's been really inspiring to me to that class. It's prodding my intellectual pursuit. But anyways, yeah, just wanted to give a little update on what I'm doing in college. So I'm gonna be making more videos now. If you have any suggestions on what you'd like me to do, videos that you'd like me to make, go ahead and drop it in the comments below. Thanks, y'all.